Cain and Abel, the first brothers and the danger of jealousy. In the beginning, when the world was still young and the morning dew glistened on every leaf, there lived two brothers named Cain and Abel. They were the first sons ever born to humanity, the children of Adam and Eve. No other siblings had existed before them, no guidebook for brotherhood, no examples to follow. They were pioneering something entirely new, the bond between brothers. Cain, the elder, was a tiller of the ground. Each morning he would rise with the sun and walk among the furrows of earth, planting seeds with careful, deliberate hands. He knew the soil intimately, how it felt after rain, how it crumbled during drought, the way certain plants reached hungrily toward the light. His hands bore the stains of rich brown earth, and he took deep pride in coaxing life from the ground beneath his feet. Abel, the younger brother, was a keeper of sheep. While Cain worked the still and silent ground, Abel moved with his flock across gentle, rolling hills. He knew each sheep by name and sound, understood their soft bleating calls, and protected them from lurking dangers. His days were filled with wind through grass and the peaceful rhythm of wandering beneath open skies. For a time, the brothers lived side by side in harmony, each content in their own labor, each contributing to the family's survival in their own way. But as the seasons turned and the years passed, a custom grew among humanity, the practice of bringing offerings to God, gifts of thanksgiving for the blessings of life and sustenance. When the appointed time arrived, both brothers prepared their offerings with care. Cain gathered produce from his harvest, fruits of his labor, vegetables and grains he had cultivated with sweat and patience. Abel selected from his flock, choosing the firstborn lambs, the finest and most valuable of his sheep, and presented them with a reverent, humble heart. The smoke from Abel's offering rose straight and true toward heaven, accepted with divine favor that seemed almost visible. But Cain's offering was not received in the same way. The ancient text doesn't tell us exactly why. Perhaps it was the attitude of heart, perhaps the quality or timing of what was given, perhaps something deeper in the intention behind the gift. But Cain could see the difference clearly, and it wounded him profoundly. A dark seed began to grow in Cain's heart. It started small, like a shadow lengthening at sunset, just a whisper of disappointment. But disappointment turned to resentment, and resentment began to twist into something far more dangerous: jealousy. Why was his brother's offering accepted while his was not? Hadn't he worked just as hard, perhaps harder? Didn't his hands bear the calluses of honest, back-breaking labor? God, seeing the storm clouds gathering in Cain's expression and the darkness settling over his countenance, spoke to him with gentle but firm warning. Why are you angry? Why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door like a beast. Its desire is for you, but you must master it. It was a crucial moment of choice, a crossroads in Cain's life. God was offering him a path back to peace, acknowledging that while anger might be natural, he need not let it control him. Sin was pictured as a predator, crouching and waiting, ready to pounce. But Cain still possessed the power to master it, to choose a different way forward. But jealousy had already taken root too deeply in Cain's heart. Instead of examining himself, instead of bringing a better offering or seeking understanding, instead of celebrating his brother's success, Cain allowed the darkness to flourish and grow. The comparison between himself and Abel consumed his waking thoughts. Every time he saw Abel with the sheep, every time he imagined that moment of divine acceptance, the jealousy burned hotter within him, like coals slowly igniting into flame. One fateful day, Cain spoke to his brother Abel. "Let us go out to the field," he said simply. And Abel, trusting his older brother completely, went with him without hesitation or fear. There, far from their parents' dwelling, far from any witness, Cain's jealousy erupted into terrible violence. He rose up against Abel his brother, and in an irreversible moment of rage, killed him. The first murder in all of human history was born from jealousy between brothers, from comparison and resentment left unchecked. The silence that followed must have been deafening. Abel's blood soaked into the very ground Cain had spent his entire life cultivating and nurturing. And then came God's voice again, not with warning this time, but with a question heavy with sorrow. "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain's response has echoed through the ages. "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" But the earth itself testified against him. The ground had absorbed Abel's innocent blood, and it cried out for justice. God pronounced Cain's punishment. The ground would no longer yield its strength for him. The very soil he had worked so intimately, that he had known better than anyone, would become resistant to his touch. He would become a restless wanderer upon the earth, never finding home or peace. Cain cried out that his punishment was greater than he could bear, and God, even in judgment, showed mercy. He placed a mark upon Cain, not as a brand of shame, but as a protective sign, so that no one who encountered him would kill him in revenge. And so Cain went away from the presence of the Lord, carrying forever the crushing weight of what jealousy had driven him to do. The story of Cain and Abel reminds us, across all the millennia since, of a simple but profound truth. Jealousy is a dangerous companion. It begins small, with a moment of comparison, a twinge of resentment. But left unchecked, it grows and distorts everything it touches, making us see brothers as competitors and turning blessings into grievances. As you drift towards sleep tonight, let this ancient story settle gently in your heart. We need not compare ourselves to others. We need not let another's success diminish our own worth. Rest now in peace, knowing you are enough.